Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're gearing up for the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam, you've probably noticed the developer tools can be a little confusing. Well, in this explainer, we're going to untangle all of that. We'll break down the absolute essentials of CI/CD on AWS. Let's get right into it.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the big picture, what CI/CD is all about. Then we'll walk through each of the main services one by one: CodeCommit, CodeBuild, CodeDeploy, and CodePipeline. And we'll finish up with a super focused look at the key facts you need to know to absolutely ace your exam. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the fundamental problem these tools are actually built to solve. In today's software world, everything is about moving fast, right? Getting new features out to users quickly. But, and this is a big but, doing it reliably.
And that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you move fast without breaking things? I mean, imagine your team's building a new feature, like a shopping cart for a huge website. You want to release it fast, but you absolutely can't risk taking the entire site down. The secret is automating the whole process, because doing it all by hand is just way too slow and, full of human error.
And that automation has a name: CI/CD. Let's break that down. Continuous integration, or CI, just means developers are constantly merging their code changes into one central place. Every time they do that, an automated build and a battery of tests are run. Then, continuous deployment, or CD, automatically pushes that code out to customers, but only if it passes all those tests. This whole system just slashes errors and makes deployment cycles incredibly fast. And this right here is a perfect way to visualize the flow. Honestly, think of it like a factory assembly line. You start with your raw materials, which is your source code. Then you have the build stage, where you assemble it. Next, you deploy it, you ship the finished product. And of course, you need a manager overseeing the whole thing, orchestrating the process. Well, AWS has a specific tool for every single one of these stages. All right, let's jump into that first stage of our pipeline: the source. This is all about having one secure, central place to store all of your code. And for that, AWS gives us a service called CodeCommit. So, the most important thing to remember for your exam is this: CodeCommit is basically AWS's version of GitHub or Bitbucket. It's a private, managed Git repository. In our shopping cart example, all the code for that new feature would live right here. And the best part? You don't have to manage any servers or worry about scaling. AWS takes care of all that behind the scenes. For the exam, you'll definitely want to remember these features. CodeCommit is plugged deep into the AWS ecosystem. You're going to use IAM to control who can access your code, KMS to encrypt everything, and you can even set it up to trigger other services, like a Lambda function, anytime new code gets pushed. That tight integration is a huge, huge advantage. So if we're sticking with that factory analogy, this is super simple. CodeCommit is the warehouse. It's the secure spot where you store all your parts, your source code, your documents, your binaries, before they head out to the assembly line. Okay, so we've got our code safely tucked away in the warehouse. Now what? Well, now we have to actually build it. And that brings us to stage 2, the build stage, which is powered by AWS CodeBuild. Now that phrase right there, fully managed, that is exam gold. With CodeBuild, you don't have to set up, patch, or manage your own build servers at all. You just hand over the code for your shopping cart feature, and CodeBuild does the heavy lifting. It compiles it, runs all the tests to make sure it works, and spits out a ready-to-deploy package. Okay, this is critical for the exam. You might be asking, well, how does CodeBuild know what to do? Great question. It looks for a special file in your code repository called buildspec.yml. Think of this file as the recipe. It tells CodeBuild the exact commands to run at each step, like installing dependencies, building the code, and running your tests. And the benefits are pretty clear, right? You only pay for the exact build minutes you use, it scales up automatically if you have a bunch of builds happening at once, and it's totally secure. It's basically an efficient, on-demand assembly line for your code. So our application is built, it's packaged, it's ready to go. Now it's time to ship it. This is the deploy stage, and our go-to tool for the job is AWS CodeDeploy. CodeDeploy is a real workhorse. It automates the whole tricky process of getting your code onto your servers. And as you can see, it supports a huge range of platforms. Everything from your standard EC2 instances to servers in your own data center to modern stuff like Lambda functions and ECS containers. This flexibility is what makes your deployments predictable and safe no matter where you're sending them. You're probably seeing a pattern here. Just like CodeBuild had its build spec file, CodeDeploy has its own instruction manual, the appspec.yml file. This is your deployment recipe. It tells CodeDeploy exactly where to copy your application files and what scripts to run at very specific moments during the deployment. We call these lifecycle hooks. For instance, you can tell it to run a script to stop your web server before you install the new code and another to start it back up after. So remember, build spec is for building, app spec is for deploying. Got it? Now listen up, because this is a huge topic for the exam. CodeDeploy gives you different ways to deploy. An in-place deployment is pretty simple. It just updates the application on your existing servers. It works, but it can involve some downtime. The safer and, frankly, cooler way is a blue-green deployment. Here, you create a brand new, identical environment, the green one, and deploy the new code there. Then, once you know it's working, you just flip a switch and route all your traffic from the old blue environment to the new green one. This means zero downtime, and if anything goes wrong, you can just flip the switch right back. All right, so we have the warehouse for our parts, the assembly line to build them, and the delivery truck to ship them. But who's running the whole show? Who's making sure that every single time a developer commits new code, it automatically gets built, tested, and deployed? Well, that's the job of the factory manager, the orchestrator, AWS CodePipeline. CodePipeline is that factory manager. It's the brain of the operation. It's not a code repository. It's not a build server. It's the service that automates and lets you visualize your entire workflow from start to finish. It keeps an eye on code commit for changes, automatically tells CodeBuild to start a build, and then tells CodeDeploy to release it. And this is what a simple pipeline looks like in action. You can see how it just connects all the dots, linking together the services we've been talking about into this one seamless automated flow. A developer pushes code, and CodePipeline just takes it from there, moving it through every stage automatically. This right here is the heart and soul of CI/CD on AWS. All right, let's bring this all home. We're going to boil everything down to what you absolutely, positively need to remember for your cloud practitioner exam. This slide right here, this is your ultimate cheat sheet. Seriously, screenshot this, write it down, whatever you need to do. Commit is for source code. Build is for, well, that's easy, building, and it uses buildspec.yml. Deploy is for deploying, and it uses appspec.yml. And finally, pipeline is the one that orchestrates and connects everything together. If you can lock this table in your memory, you are in fantastic shape. Well, let's just say it one more time, because repetition is the key, right? Your code gets stored in commit, it's built by build, it's released by deploy, and the entire process is automated by pipeline. That is the core loop you've got to know. So, we've walked through the what and the why of the AWS Developer Tools. You now have that solid foundation to really understand how they all fit together. Of course, the real learning always starts when you get your hands dirty and start building. Good luck on your exam. You've got this. Thanks for watching.